Hey guys, it's Rob again, back with another video. Um, Now I know at the beginning of this video it might look I'm getting ready to talk about this buffing machine again, this homemade buffer. Um, Actually, in this video, I wanted to talk about some upcoming projects I have for 2025. Now, one thing I have failed to bring up in the past, and I'm not, usually, I'm usually not a person who throws their business out there, and I'm not gonna like go into any details in this video. Um, my wife and I are kind of in the middle right now of well, my wife's in the middle of trying to get a settlement. Uh, I'm not gonna go into any details of what that settlement involves because, quite honestly, if this video wound up getting out to the wrong people, uh, it could wind up coming back on me in a really bad way. But some of these upcoming projects that I want to talk about is going to require a certain amount of funds that my wife and I right now. My wife is actually waiting on a pretty decent sized settlement, and after we pay off whatever bills we need to pay off completely. I had a few things in mind that I wanted to do for myself. I'm Anybody who knows me, and I know a lot of you, out there in YouTube land, this channel is fairly new. I don't even have. I'm not a content creator. I never claimed I wanted to be. This is just something that I enjoy doing, little random videos, and I mean, it's nothing. There's really no set subject matter for this video. I know within the last few weeks I've done a lot of videos on this buffer in general and talking about finishing guitars and painting, and even though I haven't really done any kind of painting videos up to this point, but I just wanted to go over just some personal goals that I have for myself in 2025. Right off the bat, we've been through a lot within this last year and a half. I mean, a lot. Things with my stepdaughter, work issues, not with not with me, but with my wife in general. Like I said, I can't really go into a lot of detail. I can't really go into any detail at all because if anybody was to, you know, find this video, it could wind up coming back to hurt us in a big way. But my main goal, as with most Christians, is just to become stronger in my relationship with the Lord. I mean, the last almost 20 years of my life has been, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And you're always going to go through trials and tribulations in your life. I think we honestly spend the majority of our life having Jesus, carry, carry us through the fire. But he always does that um, to just show his everlasting power. And he, and sometimes in life, the Lord puts you in situations where you he is the only one that you can depend on. I mean, faith without works is dead, And we always need to be doing something and trying something. But regardless of, you know, what direction your life goes, it's always for the Lord's good, and everything is going to be just fine in the end. So, you know, so my main goal for 2025 and going forward, as always, is always just having that stronger relationship with Jesus Christ. Another goal I have, you know, I know I just made the statement about, you know, I'm not a content creator, and I'm not saying that. I would never explore that avenue to, you know, as an extra form of income. But some of the things that I am in the middle of right now, trying to get established. I love art. Loved it from a very, very young age, and especially graphics art. Trying to just coming up with a design for anything. You know, it could be for an award, could be for, you know, a a website, you know, what have you. And you know, I'd really would like. I'm really in the middle right now of trying to get an online business started, mainly a print on demand style business, where I can try to make an extra income off of some of the designs that I've created. Because I know I don't talk about myself a lot in these videos, but you know, I just turned 53 November 9th. As of this video, this is November 24th, 2024. And I just recently, you know, turned 53 a few days ago. And, you know, I realized that financially, you know, from the time I was able to work when I was a young teenager, if there's anything that I've learned in my life, it's that we've been lied to our whole lives. Completely lied to. You know, we're told from a young age, you know, finish high school, go to college, you know, get a degree, and you'll go out getting a job making six figures, and you'll be able to retire by the time you're age 60. In this day and age, doesn't work that way anymore. We used to be told all the time, go out and buy a house. That's a lie. Because here's the thing, in this day and age, there are benefits to renting. There are benefits to buying. You know, one of the things that they don't tell you when you buy a home is if you have a mother or a father who's very elderly and they wind up ending up in a nursing home, you know, if they don't fit the bill and they wind up racking up a huge balance, they can come after your family for that balance. And they'll do it however they have to. And if it means coming after your home, that's what they'll do. I know somebody who's in the middle of that right now. So, you know, we're never taught from the time we're in high school. We're never taught how to properly save money. We're never taught how to properly invest money. You know, we're never taught from an early age how to be financially independent. Yeah, because the schools do not want that in their curriculum, because everybody is about liability nowadays, and nobody wants anything coming back on them. So basically, from an early age, all of us have been completely lied to. The days of working for a company for 30 years, and when it comes time to retire, that company taking care of you, those days are gone, if they were even there to begin with. I sometimes think that was a lie. I'm just kind of gonna be all over the place here, guys. So yeah, trying to get some extra streams of income coming in, with something I'm passionate about doing. That's another main focus I have going into 2025. Now, in terms of things around my house, I love my home. I really do. We live in a pretty good neighborhood, but the house, for what it is very small. But my wife and I, right now, are just not in the position to sell our home and get into a bigger home with a bigger property. It's just that that season of our life has not come upon us yet for that to happen. So going into the new year, when these extra funds come in that we're waiting on, this one car garage, and I apologize right now. I know it looks highly disorganized, but the last people who lived here, they literally, I'm just going to flat out say it. Some of the things I've seen around this house from the time my wife and I moved in here 4 years ago, and we've made a lot of upgrades to this home. I'm not going to show any of the inside of the house. We've made a lot of upgrades to the home. A lot of, ripped apart the kitchen, tore out all the carpet, put in vinyl flooring. But as far as this garage goes, yeah, these people, I just haven't had the time yet to do what I would really like to do in this garage. And like I said, my wife and I have to wait on those funds to come in first. But as far as little tiny personal goals for myself, and I know I'm going to wind up bringing this up again, and I apologize because it seems like the last few videos that I've done, this has been like the main focus. But one of my goals for the upcoming year, this homemade buffer that that I constructed, it's just basically made out of cheap 2x4. I didn't buy like the highest grade lumber. I just used cheap 2x4s. So it's just basically 2x4s screwed together. I got some locking caster wheels at the bottom, and they work pretty good. I can pretty much move this buffer from one end of the garage to the other with no issues. I mean, they're pretty. The wheels are pretty smooth, even though I got them at a discount store for like probably $3 a piece. I have a whole $12 invested in the wheels. So I primarily built this buffer for finishing guitar bodies. With my work schedule right now, I haven't really been able to work on this Telecaster project that I've actually been struggling with for 2 years now. Because, and that's another thing. This Telecaster, I wound up sanding off a lot of the wood on this guitar body. So before I go do anything with this guitar, I want to do a 3/16 round over on the sides, on the edges, with a round over bit, and I have to do some filling because I want to take out. There's like some gouges in the wood that have to be taken care of, but not trying to get off track here. But yeah, the buffer. So as far as the buffer goes with the upcoming year, I have these small 6-inch diameter buffing wheels from Harbor Freight. I have, you can't tell, but I actually have three wheels sandwiched together on each end. That way it cuts down on the amount of time I can do any buffing. I have done a test piece that wound up coming out great, even though it did have some previous scratches from the finish curing months ago. But yeah, these for the time being, these work great. So it's basically, I have 2 pillow block bearings with a 3/4 inch bore. I have a 6-inch diameter shaft pulley, and I have a half horsepower 1725 RPM furnace motor that I got off Facebook Marketplace. It was already wired with a plug, and it was already wired to accept a switch, which I made myself. And right now I just have it, and it has a 4-inch diameter drive pulley. So with the 4-inch diameter drive pulley and the 6-inch diameter shaft pulley at 1725 RPM, it spins at about 1150 RPM, which is ideal for these really small buffing wheels. Now, I did for a little bit. This pulley actually, shortly after I got the motor, it did wind up breaking. And at one point, I was able to put it back together. But at one point, I had a 2.5-inch diameter drive pulley on here. So with the 6-inch diameter shaft pulley, it was spinning at about 718 RPM, which is about what the StewMac buffer spins at. But I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I'd really would like to buff at around 1,000 RPM, especially if I wound up having to get a medium cut compound for these cheaper $4 wheels that I got from Harbor Freight. So, and then I wound up putting a set of clamps on the end here. The only reason I did that is because I have the motor mounted on a shelving unit with some shelving brackets. And when the motor is spinning, it gets like really, really loud. And I was trying to think of a way of how I could reduce the noise. So I actually put these clamps on one end of the shelving unit, and it actually helps a lot. I'm going to fire it up here for just a second. One thing I've talked about in my previous videos with this buffer, this thing was giving us a lot of issues for a long time. The bearings were going out of alignment, had problems with the shaft pulleys. Set screws were coming loose on not just the pillow block bearings, but was coming loose on this shaft pulley as well. The rod itself is a 3/4 inch diameter rod that I got from Roll King. I actually had a 2 and it's 3 foot in length. I originally had a 2 foot 3/4 diameter shaft on here before, but the smaller shaft, the RPMs that these motors run at, I think it was just a little too much for that shaft, and I wound up switching it out with a 3-foot shaft, which I should have done to begin with, because that's a lot of guys, when they build these buffers, they use a 3-foot shaft anyway. But I was just trying to do something a little cheaper and more economical, and I probably could have eventually got it where I wanted it with that 2-foot shaft, but I finally wound up getting this 3-foot shaft. I finally got this buffer right where I want it, and it, like I said, it's doing great now. So yeah, but I'm not gonna go into no further detail about this buffer, but as far as 2025 goes, what I'd like to do with this buffer, I would like to get this wheel right here, I use a Manzurna G52 Super Finish to give it the highest luster shine it can get. And then on this wheel, I use a Manzurna GW16 Fine Finish compound to bring up the initial shine. Honestly, I think with the upcoming year, I think I'm going to go to a set of coarser wheels. The main goal, as far as the wheels go for the upcoming year, is upgrading to 14-inch wheels. I'm thinking what I'm going to do on this end, because I have some water-based finishes that I'm going to be doing. I love water-based. It's the greatest thing that they ever came out with as far as finishing guitar bodies, because, man, you don't need like some super expensive paint booth. You do need to try to come up with a plan for cutting down on the amount of dust getting on your project. But yeah, so I'd like to get a set of 14-inch wheels on this end. They're a little bit more coarser for that medium grade compound that I wound up getting. But then I'm going to stick with the normal soft cotton flannel wheel on this end for my G52 Super Finish. I haven't really made the decision yet right now. But I'm thinking about dropping them, and I've touched on this in previous videos. I'm thinking about, to make it a little more stable, I'm thinking about dropping the motor to the bottom of the frame and then switching to a link belt, because supposedly they run a heck of a lot smoother. If I decide to stick with a 3/4 inch diameter shaft, I'm probably going to wind up ordering a precision shaft from McMaster. And I don't know yet, I'm actually considering switching out this motor. I mean, the motor itself runs great, but Harbor Freight actually has a 1 horsepower motor that spins at 1800 RPM. And I'd really like to have something a little bit more new when I go to do these buffing projects. But for right now, this Westinghouse furnace motor, it's been awesome. Besides that 4-inch diameter pulley breaking on me, I've had no issues with it at all. The gentleman I bought it from was so awesome to deal with. So that's another upcoming project. Once again, involves this buffer. Besides getting this garage in order, with me getting ready to do these upcoming painting projects, I'm actually considering building a portable spray booth that I can pretty much put in any area of this garage that I want to. What I'm honestly thinking about doing, I need to replace this side window on the garage, because on the outside it's a little bit loose from the frame. So I'm thinking after I replace that window, I was at Ollie's discount outlet one day, and the store that I was at, it wasn't in my town. It was I can't remember exactly where my wife and I were at, but they had this. It was like a display unit, and it was like a really hardened steel display unit. It was almost like it was a shelving unit on wheels. And I seen it, and man, if I had had a truck with me, I probably would have talked to the store manager and offered him $100 for it. Because when I seen this thing, I was like, man, I could turn this into like an awesome spray booth. So with the upcoming year, I would like to have some kind of unit where it'd be on a set of wheels where it can be positioned anywhere in the garage. And what I would like to do to cut down on the amount of dust is not only have an extraction blower, an extraction fan hooked up to the booth, and then have a large hose, feeding all the dust and debris and everything outside this window. But what I would also like to do, like to have some kind of fountain built in, because if you ever see the Fender Custom Shop, whenever they do their paint jobs, they have like this waterfall going on in the background, and basically the water streaming down, it catches all of the overspray. So not only does it cut down on overspray, but it extracts all the dust and everything. And then what I would wind up doing, I would think, when it come time to do the painting, I would have this fountain, but then I would I was thinking about coming up with some kind of like plumbing system to where the excess water I could either just feed out through my driveway, or just I would probably wind up feeding it out to the sewer outlet in my front yard. But we've actually been having a lot of problems with our sewer getting backed up lately, and I don't know if that would really honestly would be a good idea, feeding all that excess water out there. Honestly, I think just feeding it out of the garage and letting it drain towards the end of the street would just be the best way to go. I mean, there wouldn't be that much water going down there anyway. So that's another project I got going on for the next year. And eventually at some point, I'd like to have a workshop built. Unfortunately, in my backyard, I don't have enough space for it because, number one, we bought a storage shed 2 years ago. That's already back there. And number two, our fenced-in backyard is actually butted up to city park. So, I mean, we have a the backyard is very, very, very small. So, putting some kind of other shed or workshop back there just isn't in the cards. So, but yeah, that's just some upcoming things I've got that I'd like to have happen within the next year. So, and I know this video's been kind of lengthy, and I apologize, but that's going to be it for this video. I thank y'all for watching. If you have any comments you want to add about, possibly, upcoming goals you got going on for yourself for the next year. So, but thank y'all for watching, everybody. The likes and the views, anything you guys can provide, to help, get this channel out there, I'd really appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. And take care of yourself and take care of others. And we will see you next time. Have a good day.